Hey, welcome back to some more coverage of Clank Digital. This is the closed beta for Clank, which has just been released in closed beta on Steam. So unfortunately, if you don't have an invite, you're going to have to wait a little while before that becomes possible. This is only open to backers of the Clank Legacy 2 Acquisitions Incorporated Kickstarter. I've already released a video of a full playthrough of a game against other players, and today what I thought I would do is go through the built-in tutorial to kind of see how that is, and also for those of you who have never played Clank, maybe kind of get to know how the game works in a more organized way than kind of my semi-teaching explanation in the previous video. And I'm also quite curious to see how the tutorial goes. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to play through the tutorial here. I think I'll go through both the tutorial 1 and the tutorial 2 here in this one video. So hopefully it is helpful and interesting. So let's just jump right into it. Tutorial 1, the basics. Stop thief! And by the way, oh, just kidding. Welcome to Clank, where daring adventurers test their cunning in an attempt to, shall we say, liberate vast quantities of treasure and relics from the dungeon depths. All right, looks like I don't have to rush through that. There's a little box here. And by the way, this might be helpful for me as well, because although I've played Clank Catacombs, which is a newer version of the game, and I'm quite familiar with how that works, I don't really know how the base game works, which is what Clank Digital is. So there's still a few things I'm not totally clear about it, and so this might help me as well. Okay, so we're going to liberate vast quantities of treasure. A simple goal. Delve deep, grab an artifact, and anything else you can get your sticky fingers on, and get out! The surviving player with the most victory points wins. Right, so you need to get a hold of an artifact in order to be able to escape the dungeon. This is you, a bit green perhaps, but full of potential. Ugh, potential. That was always on my report cards growing up. Okay. Here's how it works. In Clank, each player starts with an identical 10-card deck. So yeah, the Clank is a deck building game, just like many others. Dominion being sort of the classic example, Dune Imperium, another one also from Direwolf, also designed by the same person who designed this, Paul Dennen. It's a very common concept. Each player starts with a 10-card deck, which is the same, full of just basic cards, and as you play, you will get better and different cards in your deck. On each of your turns, you'll draw and play 5 cards from it. You always play every card you draw. So this is an important aspect of this game, which can be different from some other deck builders, where, for example, in Dune Imperium, you're really thinking about which card do I want to play for my agent, which card do I want to hold back for reveal. But in Clank, you just play all the cards in your hand, and you don't necessarily always want to. Some of them are actually bad, but you don't have a choice. All right. Drag Scramble into the dungeon to play it. Okay, so here's Scramble. Let me just do what it says. Scramble gives you 1 skill and 1 boot. You can see those represented in your resource area over here. Cards you've played move to your play area just above your resources. Okay, so my hand is over here. My play area is over here. Now, any thief worth their salt will tell you that boots are a vital part of the trade. For each boot you gain during a turn, you can move 1 step along a tunnel between rooms. There's only 1 tunnel forward from where you are. Click the space it leads to, spending a boot to move there. Okay. Good. But you can still get another boot from a card in your hand. Play it now. Okay, so here's sidestep. And move to the next room. Right, so there's a path connecting here. This is the only place I can go. I can't go back out here because I don't have an artifact. If I were to have an artifact, I could immediately leave the dungeon. Now I'd have no points, so it'd be a bad idea. But that's why I don't have that option. You've got it. We'll make a proper sneak of you yet. Cards in your hand can be played in any order. Play the rest of your cards now. Okay, so I'm playing some burgles here, which just provide skill, which is used to add new cards to your deck. Before you're ready to kick off a proper crime wave, you'll need to know about the dungeon row. Whoa! The dungeon row is populated with 6 cards from the dungeon deck. These represent things you might encounter in the dungeon. I apologize. I'm going to be clearing my throat a bit. I have a bit of a cold at the moment. Okay, so here's the dungeon row. So there's basically a big stack of cards that all get shuffled up at the beginning of the game. There are some duplicate copies of some of them. Some of them are one-offs. And so every game you're going to see a different dungeon row and different cards in different orders as you play, which keeps the game interesting from game to game. From here, you'll be able to use the 4 skill you've gained to acquire new cards. Take a look at the Elven Boots. This card gives 1 skill and 1 boot when played, just like Scramble. Okay. Scramble. Okay, they're not letting me mouse over it, but it's the same effect. It also lets you draw another card from your deck, giving you more resources to work with. That's always nice. A card that replaces itself. And it's worth 2 victory points at the end of the game. So, the winner is determined at the end of the game. So unlike, let's say, Dune Imperium, where, you know, you're kind of racing towards a certain target, 10 victory points, Clank doesn't have that. The game ends in a different way. And at that point, you count up all the points and see who wins. The Elven Boots cost 4 skill. Acquire them now by dragging them to the acquire area. All right. A preview version of the dungeon row is always available here. Okie doke. When you acquire a card, you don't get the benefits right away. It's added to your discard pile. So this is another kind of standard element of deck building games. The new cards that you purchase or acquire go straight into your discard pile, and the discard pile will become your deck once you run out of cards in your deck to draw. You know, your discard pile gets shuffled up, that becomes your deck. So you get those cards later. Later, if you need to draw cards but your deck is empty, your discard pile is shuffled and becomes your new deck. A stronger deck thanks to the new cards you've acquired. You're all out of resources, so it's time to end your turn. With your turn finished, all the cards you played go into your discard pile. Then, the dungeon row is refilled with a new card replacing the Elven Boots you took. Hey, I just got a... Check 1, 2. Ooh. Gotta be careful with my USB on my mic here. All right, well, thank you for subscribing. I missed your name as things happened here, but I'm just going to keep on recording for now. All right, the dungeon row is refilled with a new card replacing the Elven Boots you took. You've got a new hand. Go ahead and play your rightmost card. All right, so here's where the name of the game comes in. Some cards, like this Stumble, force you to make Clank. Watch your step. So this is, yeah, where you don't have a choice. You have to play every card in your hand. And ideally, you wouldn't want to play this one, but that's just how it works. +1 Clank. The more Clank you make, the more likely it is that Nyctotraxion takes a bite out of you. So step lightly. Yeah, so the idea here is as you move through the dungeon and rifle through various items, you're going to make some noise sometimes. You're going to trip, you're going to knock over a vase, and that's going to attract the attention of this dragon Nyctotraxion, who doesn't like people, stealing things from her dungeon, I guess. Looks like it was C. Dratic who subscribed to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. So yeah, that's the name of the game, is Clank. You're gonna make noise, which is gonna attract the dragon. And I'm sure they're gonna explain how that works in a moment. Oh, did I not mention the dragon? It's her stuff you're rescuing. dragging cards isn't the only way to play them. Rather than moving each card individually, you can press the play all button, use it to play your remaining cards. Yeah, so usually this is what you can do. There are certain cases where playing cards in a certain order might make a difference. Like there are some cards that's like discard a card to draw 2 cards or something like that. But for the most part, you just kind of play them all. You get all of your stuff down here. You have 3 skill to spend on cards. Let's see what's available in the dungeon row. All right, so I can click here to bring it up big. Gah! A monster! Unlike other cards, you must defeat monsters using swords, not persuasion. But when you do, you gain their defeat rewards immediately. After all, who couldn't use a bit more gold? True, although, you know, they don't discuss the ethics of murdering someone and taking their money. Just because he's an orc, does that mean he's fair to murder? I don't know. In addition to the dungeon row, there's another set of cards available to you. This is called the reserve row. These work just like cards in the dungeon row. You can spend skill to acquire them or swords to defeat them. The only difference is that instead of getting replaced in the row at the end of the turn, these cards remain available. Since there are monsters wandering around, go ahead and acquire a mercenary from the reserve row for protection. So, yeah, so there are stacks of these secret tomes, explorers, and mercenaries. So basically, they're kind of always there to be picked up. They can run out. You can see there are 15 explorers, 12 secret tomes, 15 mercenaries. The goblins, there are just an endless amount of goblins in the dungeon. So you can always murder a goblin for $1. Okay, let's buy a mercenary. Now that you've played your cards and spent what resources you can, end your turn. Okay. Since you have no cards left in your deck to draw, your discard pile is shuffled to form a new deck. Play out your cards and put that new mercenary to work. You remember how, right? Yeah, I remember how. So I could do them individually, but it's not allowing me to do that. They want me to press this play all button, which I'm happy to do. Until then, don't forget what this is all about. That poor dragon is burdened with shiny artifacts. We must lend our aid. See that 5 victory point ring? Why don't you make your way over there and grab it? Besides the way you came from, there are 2 paths connected to your space, but one of them has a double boot on it. That means you need to spend, you guessed it, 2 boots to cross it. Since you only have 1 boot this turn, head in the other direction instead. You've just wandered into a crystal cave. Pretty shiny crystals. It's easy to get lost in there. When you enter a crystal cave, you can't use boots for the rest of the turn. Running around the cave takes up all your energy. Your mercenary gave you 2 swords. Now's as good a time as any to take care of that pesky orc grunt. All right, so here's this orc grunt. So the 2 swords, I could use it to defeat this goblin, which would give me 1 gold. But defeating the orc grunt gives me 3 gold, so that's a better deal, obviously. All right, bye, orc grunt. I'm assuming you deserve to die. That's it. That 3 gold you just gained is worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. Right, so gold, each gold is worth a victory point at the end of the game, if you still have it. But there are also ways to spend the gold for items, and I'm sure they'll teach us that later. All right, last things last. New cards. Check out that Rebel Captain. Some companion cards have a bonus effect when you play them alongside another companion. Look for the companion tag below a card's name. And this one says, if you have another companion in your play area, draw a card. Okay, so these are cards that can kind of combo together. Acquire the Rebel Captain. All right, don't mind if I do. That's it. End your turn. Uh-oh. When the dungeon row is refilled at the end of each turn, if any of the new cards have a dragon symbol, the dragon attacks. Right. So in this deck building game, that dungeon row only gets refilled at the end of the turn. So the cards don't immediately get flipped over to replace the ones that you buy. Unlike in, say, Dune Imperium, where as soon as you acquire a card, a new one shows up. That's not how it works in Clank. You acquire a card, and you acquire whatever cards you want. Then at the end of your turn, you refill the dungeon row, and you see if there are any dragon symbols, and if there are, the dragon attacks. All of the Clank in the Clank area will be added to the dragon's pool. Okay, so when you make Clank, for example, with these stumbles, you put a cube of your color into this Clank area. And then once the dragon attacks, all of the cubes that are sitting there go into this bag, and then cubes will be pulled out. We'll see how that works in a second here, I'm sure. All right, then a number of random cubes are pulled from the pool, determined by the rage track. So at the moment, looks like 3 cubes are going to be pulled out whenever the dragon attacks. That was a black dragon cube. 24 of them start out in the pool each game. Those are misses. But for each cube of yours pulled, you take a damage. Take 10 damage to your health, and you're knocked out. Game over. Play your cards. But fortunately, this time you have the 2 boots to spend. Okay, so yeah, I want to go down into this area here. This corridor has the double boot symbol, which means it takes 2 boots to get through. And you can't go like one at a time. I can't use like 1 boot to move halfway, and then on another turn, another boot later. That's not how it works. If you want to go through there at all, you need 2 boots to do it. Otherwise, you can't. You've discovered a minor secret. These give you a random beneficial effect. Okay. Ooh, a magic potion. This one makes 2 swords when you drink it. Potions can be saved for later use. For now, spend your skill and end your turn. Okay, so they're letting me spend it how I want. I've got 5 skill to spend here, so I've got quite a few options. Let's take a look. Thank you for being in the way here. Okay, so there's this MonkeyBot 3000, which costs 5 skill. It doesn't do anything except when I play it, plus 3 Clank, which is bad, and draw 3 cards, which is good. It's also a companion. It's a kind of an iffy one here. I don't want to throw in so much Clank at this point, I don't think. Search. 2 persuasion and a boot. Each time you gain gold this turn, increase the amount you gain by 1. Okay, so that's a pretty nice card just because it gives a boot and skill at the same time. And, you know, might get a little extra gold if I kill a goblin or something. What do we got here? Lucky coin, +1 Clank, draw a card, 1 skill. Treasure map for 6, can't afford it. Pickaxe, 2 swords and 2 gold for 4. I kind of like that. Swagger, a boot, and for each Clank you make this turn, also 1 skill. Okay, well, this search is pretty interesting, but this pickaxe is also quite interesting, I have to say. All right, I'm going to go with the search because I want to boost up my skill, and also having movement is really a big deal in Clank. It can be easy to kind of overlook it. And then, like, you know, you're towards the end of the game, you really have got to escape, and you're just like not moving as fast as you want. So we're going to take the search. And I could get this lucky coin. You know what? It's lucky. Let's do it. Okay. All right. A dragon is attacking. I had no Clank there, but I still have cubes in the bag. Ouch. Ugh. That's pretty rough. This icon on the path in front of you is a tunnel monster. Whenever you cross one of these, you have a choice. Either pay 1 sword to defeat it, or take 1 damage. Your cards this turn don't give any swords, but you did just pick up a potion that does. Use it now. Okay. I'll do it. I don't know that I necessarily would just for 1 sword, but looks like I have to. Move into the room with the artifact, okay? Oh, I've got to play my cards first. Select the tunnel monster icon to spend a sword defeating it, then select the room you're moving to again. Okay. All right, and you can see I only have 1 sword remaining. All right, your moment has come. Steal that artifact. Okay. Picked up artifact. That dragon sounds mad. Whenever a player steals an artifact, the dragon's rage increases. More rage means more cubes get pulled in each attack. Make your way out of the dungeon with the artifact to finish the lesson. All right. You're free to move and act as you like, but make sure you escape. Okay, well, I'm in a crystal cave, so I can't move anymore. This 1 sword doesn't... Oh, no. So the 1 sword could defeat this animated door to give me a boot, but I won't be able to use it, so there's not really any point to that. So let's look at my 3 skill. What can I get for 3 skill? I could get a Rebel Miner for 2 gold. If you have another companion, draw a card. Doesn't give me any movement, and movement's what I need to get out of here. Swagger. Boot, and for each clank you make this turn, +1 skill. Okay. But I think I might as well just get this Explore. It's 2 skill and a boot. All right, and we will leave it at that. All right, so I've got some pretty good cards here. That's a lot of skill. There's a card in the reserve you should consider, Secret Tome. Take a look. It's expensive and it doesn't do anything when you play it, but it's worth a whopping 7 victory points. So if you're familiar with Dominion, Secret Tome is basically province. In terms of Dune Imperium, it's kind of like the Spice Must Flow, except the Spice Must Flow at least kind of does something for you. Secret Tome doesn't do anything. Additionally, you have to have the card in your deck to get those points. So if you were to trash the Secret Tome, you would lose those 7 points. So it's a tricky thing to figure out when should you buy them. You know, early on, it's not always the best idea to do it because it clogs up your deck and can slow you down and might cost you points over the long term. If it's close towards the end of the game, then it's usually something you should do. And since I'm on my way out, I will definitely do it. Okay, so notice I've got a whole bunch of cards here. How did that happen? Well, I played this Lucky Coin, which drew me a card. The Elven Boots also drew me a card. The Rebel Captain did not, because I don't have any other companions. All right, so 2 movement, 9 skill. Let's start with the movement first. No swords. So why can't I zoom in right now? It's a little weird. I guess, I don't know. Okay, let me buy this Secret Tome. For 2. I think we'll get this Swagger. I just want as much movement as I can get. Can I zoom now? Still no. Weird. Okay, so how can I get out of here? Well, I have 2 movement. I could move into this crystal cave, which I guess is fine. I could also just go into this box and stop there. I couldn't go through here. If I go to this one, it heals me. But this is a tougher path because there's a lot of tricky movement there. I think the safer move is to just go this way. I can get through there now while I have the 2 movement, and from now on, yeah, I can only move, you know, here next turn. I can't go further because it's a crystal cave. I'll get stuck there. But it's kind of a guaranteed progression of the way through. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. It's the next turn. Now, the thing to keep in mind for me, too, is that the dragon can't attack unless I actually buy cards from the row so that they can be replaced by a potential dragon attack. So if I wanted to just kind of play this very safe, I can just not buy anything and I won't be attacked by the dragon. Now, that's not true in a multiplayer game, but in a single player game with only one person, I guess that's how that's going to work. So let's move in here. 5 skill. I do have a sword. Again, I could get this door, but I won't be able to move because I've already entered the crystal cave. You know, let's... Okay, currently in the bag, there are none of my cubes anyway, but there are 3 Clank ready to go in. You know, let's not play it too safe. Let's have a little bit of fun here. So... let's even go really crazy. Let's get the monkey bot. Do we get attacked? No. Okay. Play all these cards. We've got all kinds of stuff. There's 7 more skill. Let's get another secret tome. I like that you can just do it directly from this little thing. You don't have to go into the larger view if you don't want to. All right. There we go. You're almost there. Yeah, I can just get out right now. Okay, we have escaped. Ba-ba-da! You did it. Congratulations. Right. Okay, so they're going to show me all of the points here now. I like the way this scoring works, where it shows you kind of bit by bit. I don't like that I didn't have a chance to actually look at it. I don't appreciate that. I want to be able to just look at what this scoring thing is before I go somewhere else. You can kind of see it here, but escaping from the dungeon is worth 20 victory points. So that's why it's great if you can actually make it out. Now, if you don't make it out, but you at least get KO'd, is what they call it. I think everyone else would just call it dying. But if you die in the top part of the map, in the sort of the castle, the above ground area, you will still count all of the points you've collected. You won't get the 20 bonus points for escaping, but anything else you've collected, you will keep. However, if you get KO'd in the depths below the castle, then if you die down there, you get a score of 0, which is obviously catastrophic. But ideally, you get all the way out. But, you know, certainly in Clank Catacombs anyway, which I've played a lot, you know, you can win the game without actually escaping. It helps a lot. 20 points is good, but it's not always strictly necessary to win. Okay, so congratulations on completing the first tutorial. Press continue to begin the final tutorial and learn the more advanced techniques. Okay, let's go. Okay, looks like there's another player here this time. Another day, another delve. It looks like you've got a bit of competition this time around. Okay, we've got Duke Fortunato. Well, I wouldn't call it a competition. There might be a lot of artifacts down there, but the best one's leaving with me. You can have the leftovers. What a dick. Both you and your opponent need to grab an artifact and escape the dungeon. Do your best to beat him to a good one. You each start with some Clank in the Clank area based on your turn order. Players who go earlier start with more. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the nice balancing things they do because it's, it's better to go first, generally speaking, but that means you're going to have more Clank in the bag. So it's a nice little balancing thing. That should be enough to get you going. Now play your cards. Okay, so again, we're back to the base deck here. And move as far as you can. Okay, well, we got 2 movement, so I have to go here first. And then here. Finally, acquire a card and end your turn. That dead run should help you get around. Take it by double-clicking. All right, well, I'm not being given a choice here, so I guess I am going to get that. Obviously, 2 boots on a card that costs 3 is nice. However, it does give you 2 Clank when you use it, which is not so great. But look at this other bonus. You don't have to stop in Crystal Caves this turn. That can be a really big deal. All right, so let's get the dead run and end the turn. This card has an arrive effect. Arrive effects happen as soon as a card enters the dungeon row. This one causes each player to make a Clank. So you can see in the middle of the card on the right, there's that little exclamation mark, which says arrive. All players get +1 Clank. So that happens, like she said, just when it comes into the dungeon row. It happens right away, and then it never happens again. So we've got some Clank happening here. Play your cards. Here we go. Got a lot of Clank in that Clank area. You don't have any boots this turn, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can't move. Look at the teleporter in the dungeon row. Okay, so this is a different kind of card. This is a device. Devices are a type of card that cost skill to use, but aren't added to your deck. So it's just a one-time effect that triggers when you acquire or use the card, but you still have to pay skill to do it. I love the art on this. Okay, so use teleport to an adjacent room, which says move to an adjacent room, ignoring all symbols and one-way arrows on the path. Instead, they provide an immediate effect and then are trashed, removed from the game. Teleporting is similar to moving. You do it between adjacent connected spaces. So you still have to have the path. However, with teleporting, you can ignore any icons on the intervening tunnel. So the double boot, the monster, the lock, forget it. Just go right through. Use the teleporter to move directly across the double boot tunnel. All right. Here we go. The minor secret you found is a magic spring. Certain effects allow you to trash cards, removing them from your deck permanently. So trashing cards is a kind of a staple mechanic of deck building games. Some of them use it more than others, but it's a very powerful thing to be able to do, because getting rid of a weaker card from your deck means that you're going to see your more powerful cards more often. It increases the average power of your hands whenever you can get rid of the weaker cards. If you remove cards like Burgle, or even better, Stumble, which is the one that gives you Clank, you'll draw your better cards more often. Choose a card to trash. Okay, so I think the Magic Spring is something you have to use immediately. All right, so I can trash something from my discard pile or from my play area. Well, let's get rid of a Stumble. Okay, it's a little weird that this isn't a draggable option. Everything else is like drag the card to some area. So this, I think, should be as well in terms of UI. All right. Let's get rid of that Stumble. Very nice. So in the case of Stumble, not only am I getting rid of a weaker card from my deck to see my best stuff more often, I'm actually getting rid of a negative card. So I'm going to be generating less Clank now. If a card has an acquire effect, like this heal, it happens as soon as you acquire that card. All right, so again, that's when you buy the card or when you add it to your deck, that triggers, and then it never happens again. All right, I'm letting you take it from here. Show me what you got. Show me what you're wicked with. Okay, I'm green, right? Okay, so let's play my cards. Fairly basic. I only have one movement. Well, I can go down here and get a minor secret, so let's do that. Healing potion, very nice. I don't need it right now, so we'll just hang on to it. And I have 3 skill, so I could get another dead run. But I'm going to get an explore instead. I'd like to get some more skill into my deck and not generate any more Clank. Ooh, 6 skill for my honored opponent here. All right, so I've got some movement this time, but I'm also going to be making some Clank. Yikes! I've got 9 cubes ready to be thrown into that bag. That's a lot. I don't love that. Okay, 3 boots. So I'm trying to think of what I want to try to do. You can see that the artifacts get more valuable the deeper you go. These are all artifacts here. So I need to get 1 artifact in order to be able to escape. However, you can only carry 1 artifact, and you can't trade it for a better one. So once you pick one up, that's what you've got. Now, these market spaces allow you to spend your gold to buy items, and the market is over here. So each of these items costs 7 gold. The backpack is worth 5 victory points, and it allows you to carry an additional artifact. The crown is worth victory points. And the master key is worth a few points, but it allows you to move through locked paths, which is a big deal. Now, you can see they're worth victory points, but remember, gold is worth victory points. So 7 gold is 7 victory points. So you are losing a couple of victory points by picking up the backpack or the key. You're just saying that the trade-off is going to be worth it. The crown is the only actual upgrade in victory points directly. All right. Let's go here. Let's go here. Okay, we've got another one of these trash things, which is quite nice. I guess that's going to happen at... Okay, I can do it right now. Well, let's get rid of another stumble. Fantastic. All right, and for skill, what's this? Cleric of the Sun. I can heal, but I don't need to, so that's not terribly appealing to me right now. I think it's just going to be another Explorer. Now, you know what? Maybe 2 mercenaries, because the monsters are starting to build up here, and I don't have a lot of swords. So let's put some swords into the deck with a couple of mercenaries. So, oh, what's this here? Safety. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. As long as you make it above ground to safety with an artifact, townsfolk will be able to recover your body even if you're knocked out. Oh, you still need to have an artifact for that? Okay, that's different than Clank Catacombs, I think. In that case, you'll get to score points. You could even still win. But if you're knocked out in the depths or without an artifact, okay. I've got to review the rules on Clank Catacombs and see if that's also true there. No one's coming for you and you score 0 victory points. Let me know in the comments if you happen to know if that's also true in Clank Catacombs, if you need an artifact to get any points. I was not aware of that, if it is true. And if you need an extra incentive, escape with an artifact, and you'll score a bonus 20 victory points for your mastery. Are they called mastery points and not victory points? No, this bonus is called mastery. Okay, so escaping gives you the mastery token, which is worth 20 victory points. Okay, and by the way, what happened over here is Duke Fortunato, he got a minor secret, which turned out to be this dragon egg, which is worth 3 victory points. But as you can imagine, stealing a dragon egg pisses off the dragon. And so that's going to increase the rage on the rage track here. Currently at 3 cubes. So I think if the dragon gets any more enraged, we'll go up to 4 cubes pulled for a dragon attack. Okay, well, I'm going to make some more Clank here thanks to this dead run. Now, I have no gold, so going to a market is not amazing for me. I don't know if I'm too hyped about this 7-point artifact. I think I might try to make it to maybe this 15. So let me go down here first. These 4 spaces are markets. When you're in one, you can spend 7 gold to buy an item. There are 3 items available: backpacks, crowns, and master keys. Backpacks will let you carry an extra artifact. Otherwise, you can only hold one. A master key will let you get through locked tunnels, which are otherwise impassable without teleporting. Finally, crowns are worth more points than you spend on them. Keep in mind, there's a limited stock of each item. First come, first served. All right. Now, the frustrating thing is all of this movement is going to get kind of wasted. No. I don't have to stop in Crystal Caves. Okay, great. All right. Do you see that tunnel? It connects these 2 rooms. You can move between them as though they were adjacent. They're talking about this little secret tunnel here. Okay. All right, so I guess that's really the only way to go because I can't get through here. Okay. Now, I want to go in here and pick up a monkey idol, which is worth 5 points. But that's going to cost me a health. Now, I could use this strength potion for it, but I'm not sure I want to use it on that, to be honest. So I'm going to actually just take the hit. Congratulations, you found a monkey idol. Whenever you enter this space, you can grab one, but there are only 3. They're each worth 5 points at the end of the game. So if I go, I can kind of loop around, I think, and collect more of them if I want to. All right, that hurt. Now, with my 5 skill, the Duke, hey, that's this guy. Now, if I acquire this guy, I will heal that damage I just took, which is kind of interesting. At the moment, I don't have any gold, but I might end up with some. So the question I'm thinking of is, do I want 1 Duke, or do I want a Cleric of the Sun and a Mercenary? Another dead run could be interesting. I'm going to go with the Cleric of the Sun because it's going to heal me, and the Mercenary. All right, so it looks like some fighting is going to happen this time. What do we got here? Watcher, defeat. Gain 3 gold. All other players get 1 Clank. That's kind of funny. Crystal Golem. Fight this only in a crystal cave and defeat it for 3 skill. Now I have 4 skills, so if I were to do that, that would give me enough to buy a secret tome, which is kind of interesting. Or even this brilliance, which is draw 3 cards. That is really good. So I'm kind of tempted. I'd have to move into this crystal cave to do it. But I think maybe I will. All right, let's go here. I'm going to take this artifact. So that's worth 15 points. Great job grabbing an artifact. Keep in mind that you'll only be able to carry 1 at a time. That is, unless you had some sort of backpack from the market. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, now I'm in a crystal cave. And so I can beat up this crystal golem. So let's do it. I now have 7 skill. So I'm going to take a secret tome. And that's going to do it. I have 1 sword. Okay, well, wait a minute now. 1 sword plus 2 swords. I can defeat this Watcher as well. So let's do that. $3 gold for me, 1 Clank for him. All right, good. All right, so he's picked up the 20-point artifact. He had a lot of swords that round. He got him through that tunnel. Also killed a goblin. All right, what do I have? 1 movement. So I'm going to try to make my way out now. So we'll move up here. 5 skill. You know, I think I want the movement, and I want to get through these crystal caves. So I'm going to take this dead run because, like I said, my goal now is to escape. That's going to help me escape. 2 swords is just going to be a goblin for 1 gold. And I could add another mercenary, but you know what? I don't think I want to at this point. Because this doesn't give me boots. And what I really want now are boots to get out of here. So I'm going to pass on using that skill. All right, a dragon is attacking finally. A lot of cubes going into that bag. Who's going to get hit? Okay, that's 1 for me. That's 2 for me. All right. Okay, this dead run is going to give me some movement, which is nice. Now, how do I want to do this? Well, going in here is going to heal me. That could be good. That's 2, and then 3 in there. Okay. Problem is then I need 2 movement to get past that road. The other option is I could go this way. 1, 2, 3, and in this crystal cave, and that's easier to get out of. So I think that is the better play. So let me go this way. Cost me 1 movement. It's also going to get me a minor secret. And yeah, I might as well destroy that monster in the tunnel. And when I say destroy, it means like get past that. There's always going to be a monster there. It's not like you clear it out. What did I get? Oh, another minor strength potion. Fine. 2 more movement gets me in there. Now the dead run means I don't have to stop in crystal caves, but I don't have any more movement, so that's fine. I'll just end my turn there. 2 swords is another goblin to kill. These poor goblins, man. And 4 persuasion. Ooh. Okay. This ladder is a device. It's going to give me 2 boots. Let's do that. Let's do that, and we'll be out of here in a jiffy. Maybe I can even get out of here before this guy can get out of the depths. Oh, that would be delicious. Ooh, if only I had 1 more boot. If I only had 1 more boot. Now he's going to get out of the depths next turn, but he's probably not going to escape. Ooh, why is it always me? All right, he's got plenty of boots. Wait a minute, he went down deeper. This seems unwise, my friend. Yeah, you got a backpack, you got another artifact, but you're gonna die. Luckily, I do have one boot, so I can get out. You see the importance of boots here, right? If I had just had, like, another mercenary there instead, for example, I'd just be sitting here. There you go. Get him! Get him. Okay, now when I escape, it's not going to end the game for him immediately, but I think the tutorial will probably tell us what happens, so I'll just let it explain for us. Okay, so I might as well spend what I can before I get out. So 2 swords is a goblin, so that's 1 gold, which is 1 victory point. And now I just want as many points as I can get. So look at this. Perfect. Emerald. For 5 skill, you get 5 victory points. And it draws you a card when you play it. When you acquire it, you get +2 Clank. Well, I don't care about the Clank. So that's great. And now let's get out of here. Okay. The first time any player is knocked out or escapes, they stop taking turns, and the other players only have 4 more rounds until Nyctotraxion catches them. Okay, so this is something that's different in the base game than Catacombs. I was a little confused about this when I played my playthrough. Only 4 more rounds until Nyctotraxion catches them. And then what's going to happen, I think, is after each of his turns, the Dragonite is going to attack. So it's going to be turn, attack, turn, attack, turn, attack. So it's way more dangerous. As soon as one player gets out or gets KO'd, suddenly everybody else is really on a clock to get out of there. At least I think that's how it works. We'll see. You made it out with the goods. Have an extra 20 points to mark your accomplishment. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Some cards are trouble. While a card like this is in the row, so this danger card, add an extra cube is pulled in every dragon attack. So while this card remains in the dungeon row, dragon attacks draw +1 cube. In a single player game, when you escape or get knocked out, you can fast forward through the remaining opponent turns and go straight to the results. Well, I don't want to, though. I want to see what happens to him. Okay, maybe I can just wait. Okay, there's an attack. Now, even though I'm out, my cubes still are in the bag, and so they're blanks. So he got lucky there. A bunch of my cubes got pulled. All right. So okay, whenever the turn of the first player to escape or be knocked out comes up, a bonus dragon attack occurs. These extra attacks ramp up over time, and after 4 rounds of them, the game ends altogether. Okay. Yeah, so this is something that's different from Catacombs. So in here, whenever the turn of the first player to escape or be knocked out comes up, a bonus dragon attack occurs. So it's 1 dragon attack per round. So if there were 3 players left in the game, they would each take their turn, 1 attack would happen. If one of them gets knocked out or escapes, there's 2 players left, they each take a turn, there's 1 dragon attack. In Catacombs, every time it gets to the turn of a player who's escaped or knocked out, a dragon attack. So it accelerates quite crazily. So in a 4-player game, 1 person escapes, it's 3 turns and a dragon attack. Another player escapes or gets knocked out, it's 2 turns, 2 dragon attacks. The 3rd player escapes or gets knocked out, 1 player turn, dragon attack, dragon attack, dragon attack, 1 player turn. So it's a different system. This one is interesting, but it's going to get more and more dangerous every time the attack happens. And there's a limit of 4. All right, he gets hit. Ooh, he's getting hit big time. Ooh, please die in the depths. Please die in the depths. Only 1 movement. That's not going to get you out. He's probably going to get out next time, though. All right. Thank you for that subscribe. Someone just subscribed during the video again. I want to try to find out who it was so I can shout you out. But let me just take a look at the points here. So Duke Fortunato unfortunately did get knocked out in the depths. And so this is a crushing victory for me. At the end of the game, the player with the highest score wins. Remember, you need to make it out of the depths with an artifact to score any points at all. And so Duke Fortunato had 2 artifacts, but he didn't make it out of the depths, and so he got 0. I think you're ready to plan your own heists. I mean, hoarding interventions. Good luck out there. No! Stop! Ah! Let me take a look at this screen. Don't just boot me out. That's really annoying. Okay, hold on. Let me take a quick look at who just subscribed so I can say thank you to you. You just happened to subscribe while I was recording a video, so you get a live shout out.
Let me play the beast.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
I
whoa.
have a really bad feeling that...
Whoa, sorry about that. That was my YouTube trailer playing there. Okay. Who was it now? Okay, unfortunately it's not actually showing up for me yet in my notifications. So anyway, you know who you are. We saw your text on the screen. Thank you very much for subscribing. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. We played through the tutorial. That was interesting for me. I did learn a couple of things about how the game works compared to the version of the game that I'm used to. And I think that was a nice little tutorial. It covered all of the kind of important things in the game. I can't think if there's anything that they didn't mention. So yeah, I think that was pretty well done. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought of that tutorial, if you thought it was well done, if you feel like you're ready to play the game now, if you haven't played it before. And if you have played it before, do you think that they missed anything important in that tutorial? Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more Clank, Root, and Dune Imperium. And you can also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/bludgeon. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.